This is Town Square Sunday on demand. And now, 1420 WBSM's Jim Phillips.
The New Bedford Whaling National Historical Park is conducting a series of events next month to mark Black History Month in our area. Here to talk about the programs, Park Ranger Rufai Shardow and Park Volunteer Judy Rodriques. All of these programs will be held on Saturdays, starting at 1 p.m. in the Corson Theater at 33 William Street, and, of course, the National Park Visitors Center. So welcome to you both, first off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Rufai, why don't we start with you? Why did the National Park feel it was important to recognize Black History Month? This isn't the first time it's done that, by the way, but give
Correct.
me some...
As you know, New Bedford has this rich history, culture, historical. New Bedford celebrate people like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, a lot of African Americans once escaped slavery came to New Bedford. So, but before the Civil War, we looking at close to 700 runaway enslaved were once upon living in New Bedford. You understand? So I think this gives it a right for us to talk about Black History Month and celebrate, their background, their story, and how New Bedford became and this what we call like sanctuary city. So that's why we do every month celebrate Black History Month.
There is a, Judy, I think we are celebrating really history and also culture. I mean, that's what this is all about.
Correct.
How do you view this program?
Well, I think it's important, of course, to celebrate Black History Month. And as one of the 1850s ladies who sort of talk about what the women were doing during all of the history of New Bedford, one of the things that they did was get involved in what was called anti-slavery or abolitionist fairs. The first one was in Boston in 1834. New Bedford had a table in the fair in 1839 in Boston and then held their own in 1840. So it was very important for the women to be involved in all of the abolitionist movement here in New Bedford historically.
Rufai, in a few words, really, how would you describe these programs that are coming up in February?
So every year we have African American life and history bring up these themes that we celebrate every year. So this year we're celebrating art, right? So we're looking at African American and African diaspora, we're celebrating the art. So for this month, we decided to bring our local artists to part of this celebration of art. So that's why we line up these 4 programs to celebrate art.
So on February 3rd, let's get into it. On February 3rd, for instance, Iva Brito will talk about her birthplace and using art to explain culture and other issues.
Correct.
It is, I know she's an accomplished writer. She's
Correct.
done some things.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about her.
She was once our former artist in residency. Mm-hmm. So every year we have 4 artists that we choose from the community that have programs to celebrate art or their inspiration. So since this month is about art, we decided to bring it back. And during the artist residency, she did an awesome job. She has a book called Essence, Tones, Whispers, and Shouts. We celebrate women and art and many topics. So we think she's the right person, again, to be part of this celebration for Black History Month that celebrates art. So that's why we're bringing Eva Brito back to the National Park Service.
Okay. And again, we're talking about culture, Judy. This is really, she's familiar with the National Park, obviously, because she was the artist in residence. Do you know a lot about the artist in residence program? Because you've got, there's somebody there all the time.
Yes.
You've got a new, I think in the past year you had hired somebody new.
Yes. Yeah, it comes this 4 times a year that there's a new artist in residence. And they bring a different type of look, I think. So it's never the same type of thing. It's not like somebody's just painting all the time or anything like that. Carabine is our artist in residence currently, and she does a lot of things with comics and cartooning, and she's got a program coming up on doodling and all of those kinds of things. So it's very interesting, and I think it brings a different flavor to the park.
And our next artist is about music, also a Cape Verdean. I think his name is Tavares, that will be doing somewhere in summer. So we have all these different themes that we celebrate every month, that every has a different topic. Yes.
All right, so it sounds exciting. It sounds like, you want to present a varied program, and you're doing that. So let's talk about Eden Soares, who is a mural artist.
Correct.
Now, Soares will be stopping by on February 10th. He is from, I guess, a business or a company called Tri Graphics.
Correct.
Yeah, and his topic will be murals.
Mural, yes.
New Bedford has become a city of murals in some respects.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit.
So, Eden has actually done a lot of murals in the city to celebrate the Cape Verdean cultures. There's one he did on George Washington, and he did one on Booker T. Washington. So he has done a lot in the city, and again, we felt, appropriate again to invite him to be part of this this celebration of arts. And not only that, but it's also a guy that involves in the community. So he does a lot, not only art, but does a lot in the community.
City of Murals.
City of Murals.
We have a lot going on here.
We have a lot. As a matter of fact, I think there's a tour that you can go online and print out, and it'll actually take you around the city to see a lot of the murals that have done that, and it's really fascinating to see them. They're beautiful.
Wonderful, and it gives the city a bright new look. It honors local music. One down by Freestones honors local musicians. I mean, it's just terrific.
Yeah, there's one by the waterfront, jazz. That celebrates jazz.
Okay.
So there's a lot in the city. Yes.
Clearly, it's a wonderful thing. Soares will be there. Eden
Soares will be there. Yes, he will have a power presentation, and it's about the transformation of mural, and it's gonna at 1:00, and people can come and join him and ask questions if they want to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Start to finish.
Yes.
Okay. You're listening to Town Square Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My guest is National Park Ranger Rufai Yusuf Shardow and park volunteer Judy Rodriques. We are talking about Black History Month and programming at the New Bedford Whaling National Historical Park. Rufai, how long have you been a park ranger?
Wow. Over 10 years. Okay. I was once a student at UMass Dartmouth, and I became what we call a pathway or internship. So after graduation 2014, I was lucky enough to get a job at the National Park Service. So I've been there since 2011, 12 through now. So it's been a while.
Well, that's okay.
Yes.
That means you passed the learning stage. Now you know a lot about it.
And I did learn a lot from people like Judy. Very inspirational. And Lucy, they are my kind of book to go to. And I've learned a lot from them. Yes, yes.
Judy Rodriques has been a volunteer at the National Park 20 years.
Plus, about 24.
Yeah,
the archives.
And you didn't start, the ladies didn't start, that thing didn't start right away.
No.
When you came in, but how long was it before you?
I think I was a volunteer probably for about 5 or 6 years before I had met Lucy, but I never really knew her well. And we ended up doing a project together, and she proposed the ladies, the 1850s ladies, who are sort of what we might consider middle-class people that lived in the city, and we sort of gossip about stuff. But yeah, we did research for 2 years, reading all the, anything that we could get our hands on, dead letters, the newspaper, whatever.
So
that's how
Lucy
that
that we're referring to is Lucy Bly.
Correct.
And Lucy and Judy formed the ladies of the 1850s in New Bedford. And as she mentioned in their performance, they talk about New Bedford as if it was in the 1850s. And on February 17th, now, Saturday, February 17th, 1 o'clock, they'll be discussing the use of crafting as a way to raise funds for the abolitionist movements in Boston and New Bedford. Judy, how much research did you have to do to get this right?
Well, we've researched a lot in the newspapers and different types of publications that talked about these fairs that were taking place in Boston. And then we discovered that there was actually a few held here in New Bedford. Mm-hmm. And so what Lucy and I do is we've gathered all kinds of things that might have been sold. I mean, obviously they're not the things that were sold, but things that we've made or things that we found. Shawls, aprons, caps, collars, cuffs, boxes, all those kinds of things were sold at these fairs. So we will have a display of all those kinds of things and explain how the fair worked and what the money went for. But it took a long time to sort of find all the information and pictures so that we knew exactly what we were talking about.
And of course, New Bedford is synonymous, really, with the abolitionist movement. Mm-hmm. We have a park honoring Frederick Douglass and the abolitionists that lived in New Bedford in a certain neighborhood up in the, I'll call it the West End, but I'm not sure that's the West End, but okay. But yeah, it's right near the downtown area. And it's a wonderful little park, and it offers an opportunity to reflect on some real heroes in New Bedford during the 1800s, people who saw wrong and tried to make it right. So it's great that you are going to mention that movement, be a part of it during that presentation. And I think in all of these programs, there's a component of history.
Correct.
There is, you want to say, well, what's the mural got to do with history? Well, most of the murals in New Bedford do reflect the history of New Bedford, and I think that's a pretty important thing as well.
I agree.
Rufai, let's talk about February 24th for a moment.
Yes.
Because there's a special film that you are showing. It's an Academy Award-winning film, 12 Years a Slave. This film is based on the true story of Solomon Northrop's 12-year fight for survival and freedom. It is a powerful film.
Yes.
But I have to, why this? There's a lot of good films that deal with Black history, but why this film?
Why this film? Well, this film came true because, one, New Bedford, again, has a background, right, of protecting runaway and slave, and then when they come down here, some of them do explore their artist for scale, even though this movie is not about art, it's just the fact that we have the right to talk about slavery, and I figured that it's an opportunity to add a movie instead of just people coming to do, just to lecture. Yeah. So then we can watch a movie and have a discussion about slavery, how New Bedford protected those runaway enslaved that came to New Bedford.
And that's generally what this movie is about.
Yes.
And again, I think it's important to recognize the fact that New Bedford is a special place when it comes to Black history.
Correct.
And there'll be other groups that'll do other things, but it's certainly wonderful that the national park is stepping up here as well. Yeah. Judy, was there a discussion about that when the park first decided, hey, we should do something for Black History Month?
Oh, I think it's been a number of years that the park has been involved in the Black History Month, and I know when the park first was organized, when it first became a national park, that was one of the things that is part of their mission, is to discuss that whole abolitionist movement and how New Bedford was involved in that, and not just in the abolition movement, because abolitionism actually is sort of a political stance. But a lot of New Bedford was like a sanctuary city, what we would term a sanctuary city now. They didn't obviously use those terms back then. but it really was important for the national park to talk about that right from the very beginning.
It's New Bedford history.
It is New Bedford history.
Yes.
Again, all 4 of these programs will be held on the 4 Saturdays in February, and they will start at 1 p.m. They'll be held in the Corson Theater, 33 William Street in New Bedford. Again, 4 Saturdays in February,
Correct.
1 o'clock, Corson Theater, 33 William Street.
And they are
in New
all
Bedford.
free.
That's
There's
the
no
other
charge.
thing we haven't mentioned.
We're always free.
It's free.
It's free.
That's good. We can shout that from the rooftops here. It is free. My thanks to Rufai Youssef Shardow, who was a park ranger in New Bedford, and park volunteer Judy Rodriques, one of the ladies of New Bedford, 1850. And you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I'll just also add, we have a website that's coming by end of March. We're going to be putting our programs for the summer. We do walking tours.
Yeah.
That celebrate on the Underground Railroad, whaling, and they are all free. We also have a Facebook page. You can follow us on our Facebook page. We have a lot of stuff, activities on our page that people can go on it, to see what is available for them to come in to join us.
Very good.
Yes.
Yusef, Rufai, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Judy, thanks again.
Thank
Good
you
to
for
see
having
again.
us.
My thanks to both these folks for coming in, giving us a heads up on these programs. And again, thank you. Much more to come on Town Square Sunday. Don't go away.